This is Sports World on the BBC World Service.
After heavy defeats just before the international break, which team will have a change of fortune in our Premier League commentary today?
Aubameyang still going in the penalty area. Oh, what a brilliant goal from Aubameyang. Left foot shot. What a goal! A hat-trick for Patrick Bamford.
We'll bring you every kick of the game here on Sports World, where Leeds United host Arsenal.
I know the standards that you have to set, and the level is excellence every single day, and we have to hit that.
Elsewhere, we'll be in London as the men's tennis season draws to a close with Daniil Medvedev and Dominic Thiem at the ATP Tour Final.
I'm looking forward a lot. It's going to be the last match of a very special, of a very tough year for everybody.
And in Budapest for the grand finale of the International Swimming League. That's all to come on Sports World in 5 minutes.
BBC News with Sue Montgomery. The Ethiopian military has warned residents of Mekele, the capital of the Tigray region, to expect artillery fire as it tries to overthrow the governing party there. The federal government has demanded that the TPLF surrender. Here's our Africa regional editor, Will Ross.
An Ethiopian military spokesman told state media the army planned to encircle the city of Mekele with tanks. What Colonel Dejene Tsegai said next was chilling.
We want
to send a message to the public to save themselves from any artillery attacks and free themselves from the junta in charge. After that, there will be no mercy.
The Tigray officials, who the government's trying to overthrow, are sounding defiant. They say the city of over 500,000 people can't be encircled. It feels as though this war could be devastating for the people stuck between two very well-armed military forces.
The Australian state of New South Wales has reopened its border with neighbouring Victoria after more than 4 months. It was closed in July to stop the coronavirus spreading. It's seen as a significant step closer to normal life. The head of the Electoral Commission in Burkina Faso has said a number of polling stations in today's elections had to be closed down earlier due to security threats. Hundreds of thousands of people were already unable to cast their ballots due to the jihadist violence. Analysts expect a tight contest as President Roch Kabore seeks a second 5-year term. He's facing a strong challenge from a former finance minister, Zéphirin Diabré. The government has denied Mr Diabré's accusations of fraud, which he repeated after casting his ballot.
We are Republicans. Any result that is sincere, we will accept it and go cheer and congratulate the winner. And we expect that if we are the winners, the MPP and its candidate will come and congratulate us. But at the same time, we will not accept and endorse a sham and results that are tainted by fraud and illegality.
President Trump has used the virtual G20 summit to repeat his reasons for pulling the United States out of the Paris Climate Accord. President-elect Joe Biden says he'll bring his country back into the landmark deal to reduce global warming. But in a rare public address since his election loss, Mr Trump said the agreement was unfair.
The Paris Accord was not designed to save the environment. It was designed to kill the American economy. I refuse to surrender millions of American jobs and send trillions of American dollars to the world's worst polluters and environmental offenders. And that's what would have happened.
His comments stood in stark contrast to those of other G20 leaders. The Japanese Prime Minister said he would spearhead the battle against climate change. World News from the BBC. The head of the US government coronavirus vaccine programme says the first immunisations could start as soon as December the 11th. Dr. Monsef Slaoui said 2 vaccines from Pfizer and Moderna could be officially approved by then and swiftly shipped out. About 20 million people are likely to be vaccinated by the end of December. Mr. Slaoui estimated that life in the US could return to normal by May. Tens of thousands of opposition supporters in Belarus have turned out for the 15th Sunday in a row to call on President Alexander Lukashenko to step down. Mobile phone signal was disrupted at times to hamper efforts to coordinate the protest. Activists maintained their tactic of mobilising smaller groups at many sites to make it more difficult for police to stop them. Conservatives in Spain have driven their cars in convoy through several cities in protest at education reforms that the left-wing government says will combat elitism. The protesters say a bill going through Parliament will challenge the preeminence of the Spanish language. Here's Mike Sanders.
Isabel Celaá, who's lent her name to these reforms, is not the first education minister to find out that tampering with schools arouses strong passions. She says the proposed changes will nurture social mobility and give every child a fair chance. The Conservatives call it an ideological project to boost state influence at the expense of parents. They say religious education will be sidelined and the Spanish language diminished, which the government denies. Pablo Casado, the opposition leader, says he will challenge the law in the Constitutional Court and repeal it if he comes to power.
Patriarch Irene, the late head of the Serbian Orthodox Church, has been laid to rest in Belgrade amid strict coronavirus precautions. It's thought he contracted COVID-19 at the funeral of Montenegro's senior religious leader, where mourners were encouraged to kiss the dead bishop's hands or head. BBC News.